Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into something really exciting. We're going to look at the grade 7 Chinese language curriculum. But actually, scratch that. We're not just looking at it as a sequence of classes you just have to sit through. We're treating this like a true explorer's roadmap. Because when a 7th grader steps into a Chinese language course, they aren't just learning how to say hello or memorize a random list of characters. They're literally taking their very first steps on a global expedition.
So, here's our roadmap for today. First, connecting language to culture. Second, the ACTFL 5 Cs. Third, your grade 7 pathway. And finally, the HSK proficiency scale. Section 1. Connecting language to culture, the compass. How does language learning connect culture, identity, and community? I really want you to think about that for a second. We aren't just translating words from English to Chinese here. We're asking students to understand how speaking a completely different language actually shifts the way you view your own identity and how it opens doors to entirely new communities. This is the guiding question for the whole unit.
To answer that big, essential question, the curriculum focuses heavily on practical student outcomes. Students are expected to compare cultural practices between their own lives and the Chinese-speaking world. They're challenged to accomplish real-world tasks using the language rather than just, filling out worksheets. And, absolutely crucial here, they must reflect on intercultural communication. So the main takeaway is that language is treated as an active, living tool used to bridge cultural gaps. Section 2. The ACTFL 5 Cs. If that first section was our compass telling us why we're traveling, then the ACTFL framework is the actual engine powering the vehicle. Now you might be wondering, what exactly is ACTFL? Well, the ACTFL World Readiness Standards are the official national framework guiding how languages are taught here in the US. It stands for the American Council on the Teaching of Foreign Languages. For 7th graders and their parents, this is the gold standard. It guarantees that the curriculum isn't just a random collection of lessons, but a meticulously designed system meant to prepare students to engage with real global communities.
These standards are broken down into the 5 Cs. We have communication, learning to converse actively; cultures, interacting with cultural competence; connections, connecting with other academic disciplines using the language; comparisons, comparing the new language and culture to their own; and communities, participating in multilingual communities at home and all around the world. So how does this all build into the actual classes a student can take? Section 3. Your grade 7 pathway, the routes.
This is where the rubber really meets the road. We have 2 primary routes for grades 7 through 12 students. First, there's the standard track, which progresses logically from Chinese I all the way through Chinese V. And then there's the proficiency testing track, which aligns directly with the HSK levels 3 through V. What this means is students have the flexibility to either build from the ground up in a traditional sequence, or if they have some background or are aiming straight for international certification, they can jump right onto the HSK proficiency track. I want to pause here for a second because this is a really vital piece of information. Whether a student is starting fresh in Chinese I or they're testing right into HSK 3, all of these courses are officially designated as grade 7 through 12 eligible pathways. You're on a validated, grade-appropriate path regardless of which track best fits your goals. It's just a super robust system designed to meet the learner exactly where they are.
Section 4. The HSK proficiency scale, the milestones.
Okay, so we know the routes, but now we really need to look at the milestones. We're going to decode the new HSK 3.0 scale, turning those official Chinese descriptions into clear, understandable English milestones. First up, what is HSK? It's Hanyu Shuiping Kaoshi, China's national standardized test for evaluating the proficiency of non-native Chinese speakers. But the really interesting part is that it specifically evaluates a learner's ability to communicate in life, study, and work. It's completely tied to those real-world tasks we talked about with ACTFL. It's not about abstract grammar rules. It's about what you can actually do out in the world with the language.
Let's walk through the beginner to intermediate milestones. At HSK 1, you're dealing strictly with life scenes, using simple communication. Just the bare basics to get by. By HSK 2, you expand into life, study, and work scenes with basic communication. HSK 3 upgrades that to effective communication. And then check out the major milestone at HSK 4. You're now expected to have complete and coherent communication across life, study, and work scenarios. It's a fantastic intermediate goal where the language really starts to flow.
As we jump into the advanced levels, notice how the scenes shift pretty drastically. We drop the general life category entirely. At HSK 5, the focus narrows intensely to work in academic environments, requiring accurate and appropriate communication. By HSK 6 and 7, we introduce professional and general academic scenes. Your communication here has to be rich, standard, and fluent. This is exactly where a student transitions from simply surviving in a language to operating as a highly educated professional within it.
Finally, we reach the absolute peak of the scale, the mastery levels. HSK 8 and 9 are heavily specialized. Learners here are operating in various complex professional and academic contexts, and the expectation? It's highly demanding. Communication must be appropriate, precise, and in-depth. At this stage, you aren't just communicating anymore. You're debating, analyzing, and leading at a native equivalent level in highly specialized fields. It's incredibly impressive.
So, to summarize this massive journey, it helps to visualize it like a giant ascending staircase. Step 1 is your simple daily chats at HSK 1. Step 2 is achieving coherent life and study interactions by HSK 4. Step 3 is unlocking fluent professional exchanges at HSK 6, and Step 4 is reaching the ultimate summit of precise academic mastery at HSK 9. It's a logical, step-by-step roadmap that takes someone from a total beginner and transforms them into a true global communicator.
We've covered the compass of culture, the engine of the ACTFL 5Cs, the route of the grade 7 pathways, and those big HSK milestones. So, I want to leave you with this final thought. Where will your language journey take you, and how will it transform your connection to the world? Knowing how the roadmap works is just the very beginning. The real adventure is taking that first step onto the path. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I hope this gives you a crystal clear vision of the amazing language journey ahead.